And so I spoke about inferencing technology, but at the technology level, I spoke about that. But at the industrial level, at the business level, I spoke about AI infrastructure for cloud, AI infrastructure for enterprise IT, AI infrastructure for robotics. Okay, so I'll just leave with that. Thank you.
Hi, it's Ben Reitzes with Melius Research. Thank you for having us. This is obviously a lot of fun. I said that at the last meeting. And Jensen, I was thinking about this question quite a bit. I want to ask you a big question, a big picture question about TAM. You talked about your share of data center spend last year, or data center spend as your TAM, and your share was about 25-30% last year. You use the Del Oro forecast. They go to $1 trillion, but that's about a 20% CAGR. So the street here has your data center growing about 60%, but then slowing to the rate of 20% thereafter. But I'm just thinking, like, you're in all these areas that are growing faster than the market. You're at a 25-ish% share of the overall data center spend. I'm thinking of Del Oro. I doubt they have robotics and AV data center infrastructure in there. So my question is, with that backdrop, why wouldn't your share of data center spend go up over a 3 to 5 year period versus this 25%? And, why is that CAGR actually not low, that Del Oro that you put up there? It doesn't seem like autonomous and robots are in there. So why wouldn't your share go up?
Excellent.
You're in all the right areas.
Excellent question. Yesterday, as I was explaining it, remember, I said two things. I said, one dynamic is that the world is moving from the general purpose computing platform to a GPU accelerated computing platform. And so that transition from phase shift, that transition from platform shift from one to the other, is going to, whatever the CapEx of the world, it is very, very certain that our percentage of that is going to be much higher going forward. It used to be 100% general purpose computing, 0% accelerated computing, but it is well known now that out of $1 trillion, the vast majority of it would be for accelerated computing. That's number one. So whatever the forecast people have for data centers, I think Nvidia's proportion to that is going to be quite large. And we're not just building a chip, we're building networkings and switches, and we're basically building systems components for the world's enterprise, for the world's data center. So that's number one. The second thing that I said that nobody's got right, none of these forecasts has it, this concept of AI factories. Are you guys following me? It's not a multi-purpose data center, it's a single function AI factory. And these GPU clouds and Stargates and so on and so forth, okay? These AI factories are not accounted. Do you guys understand? No, because nobody knows how to go do that. And these multiple $100 billion CapEx projects that are coming online, it's not part of somebody's data center forecast. Are you guys following me? How could they possibly know about these things? We're inventing them as we speak. And so I think there's two ideas here. And I didn't want to be too prescriptive in doing so because nobody knows exactly. But here's some fundamental things that I do know. I fundamentally believe that accelerated computing is the way forward. And so if you're building a data center and it's not filled with accelerated computing systems, you're building it wrong. And our partnership with Cisco and Dell and HP and all these enterprise IT gear, that's what that's about. Okay? And so that's number one. Number two, AI factories. GM's going to have AI factories. Tesla already has AI factories. Just as they have car factories, they have AI factories to power those cars. Every company that has factories will have an AI factory with it. Every company that has warehouses will have AI factories with it. Every company who has stores will have AI factories for those stores. to build the intelligence to operate the stores, to build the intel, and that store, of course, as you know, is an e-tail store. There's an AI that runs Amazon's e-tail store. There's an AI that runs Walmart's digital store. In the future, there's going to be AI that runs also the physical store. A lot of the systems will be AI, and the systems inside, physical systems, even robotics, will be AI driven. And so I think those parts of the world are just simply not quantified. Does that make sense? No analyst has figured out that. Not yet. It will be common sense here pretty soon. There's no question in my mind that out of $120 trillion global industries, that a very large part of that, trillions of dollars of it, will be AI factories. There's no question in my mind now. Just as today, manufacturing energy, they're invisible too. Manufacturing energy is an entire industry. Manufacturing intelligence will be an entire industry. And we are, of course, the factories of that. And so that layer has not been properly quantified. And it's the largest layer of what we do. It is the largest layer of what we do by far. But we are still going to, in the process, revolutionize how data centers are built, and it will be 100% accelerated. I am absolutely certain before the end of the decade, 100% of the world's data centers will be accelerated.
Good morning, CJ Muse with Cantor. Thank you for hosting this morning. One of the key messages yesterday was inference scaling laws are actually accelerating, led by test time scaling for enhanced reasoning. So my question, how does the work NVIDIA is doing to push the inference Pareto frontier impact how you think about the relative sizing of the inference market, your competitive positioning? And then could you discuss Dynamo briefly? Is there a way to isolate the productivity gains from this optimization software that we should be thinking about? Thanks so much.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Going backwards, as you know, people say NVIDIA's position is so strong because our software stack is so strong, and our training components in it. It's not just one thing, because training is a distributed problem, and the computing stack, our software runs on the GPU, it runs on the CPU, it runs in the NICs, it runs on the switches, it runs all over the place, and so you have to figure out which framework, which library, which systems to integrate it all into. And because no one company in the world develops the software holistically and totally for training, we have to break it up into a whole lot of parts and integrate it into a whole lot of systems, which is the reason also why our capability is so respected, because it seems like everywhere you look, there's another piece of NVIDIA software. And that is true. Now, inference is software scaling at a level that nobody has ever done before. Inference is enormously complicated. And the reason, as I was trying to explain yesterday, to give it some texture, some color, that this is the world's extreme computing problem. Because everything matters. Everything matters, and it's a supercomputing problem where everything matters. And that's quite rare. Supercomputers and supercomputing applications are used by one person. It's not used by millions of people at the same time, and everybody cares, and the answer matters. And so the amount of software we have to develop for that is quite large, and we put it under the umbrella called Dynamo. It's got a lot of pieces of technology in it. The benefit of Dynamo ultimately is, without it, just as without all of NVIDIA training software, how do you even do it? And so the first part is it enabled you to do it at scale. And one of the really innovative AI companies is a company called Perplexity, and they find incredible value in Dynamo and the work that we do together. And the reason for that is because they're serving AI at very large scale. And so anyways, that's Dynamo. The benefit to it measurably is hard exactly how many X factors, but it's less than 10. It's probably less than 10. On the one hand, in terms of once if you do a good job versus not doing a good job. But if you don't have it, you don't do it at all. Okay, so it's essential. Hard to put an X factor on it. With respect to inference, here's the thing. Reasoning generates a whole lot more tokens. The way reasoning works, the AI is just talking to itself. You guys understand what I'm talking about? It's thinking. You're just talking to yourself. And on the one hand, the reason why we used to think that 20 tokens per second was good enough for chatbots, it's because a human can't read that much faster anyways. So what's the point of inferencing much faster than 20 tokens per second if the human on the other side of it can't read it? But thinking, the AI can think incredibly fast. And so we're now certain that we want the performance of inference to be extremely high so that the AI can think some of it out loud, most of it to itself. And so we now know that's likely the way that AI is going to work. Internal thinking, out loud thinking, and then final answer production. And then interactive part of it, which is getting more color, getting more explanation, so on and so forth. But the thinking part is no longer one shot. And the difference between thinking versus not thinking, is like just a knee-jerk reaction of an answer. The number of tokens versus thinking tokens, it's at least 100 times. The point of putting a number on it was almost, I just put an arrow on it because I know that there's no way you could put an answer on how a simple answer, and yet, as you know, people love simpler answers. And and you guys know that I always have a hard time with that because it always seems more complicated in my head. And so, but I think 100x is easily so. Most likely, nearly all the time, 100x. Now, here's the part that is the X factor on top of that. This is the part that people don't consider.